Okay, I think we are ready to go. All right, I am calling to order the Liberty Tree Academy Board of Directors meeting for April 11th. The time is now 6:37 p.m. Um, let's just start with a roll call and establishment of the quorum. Mrs. Helland,
Here.
Mrs. Reward,
Here.
Mrs. Russell,
Here.
and Mr. Johnson,
Here.
Mr. Stickwich,
Here.
and Tim Geithner is here. Kirsten Swenson is excused. She will not be with us tonight unless she calls in. I think she was waiting on a flight that got delayed out of Florida. Let's go ahead and move on to Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Johnson, would you mind reading? Perfect.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Rohr, would you read our mission and vision, please? Do you mind? Yeah.
Mission: Liberty Tree Academy prepares students through a traditional, content-rich education in a disciplined and orderly environment to be self-governing citizens who are equipped to carry out the vision of our nation's founders to preserve and perpetuate liberty. Vision: Liberty Tree Academy is dedicated to an authentic, traditional American education to be a community that actively cultivates character in a challenging and engaging learning environment.
Thank you very much. And if you would provide our founding fathers quote as well.
Okay, this is by Thomas Jefferson. To penetrate and dissipate these clouds of darkness, the general mind must be strengthened by education.
Very good. Thank you. All right, let's go into the agenda. So I'm going to ask you to fill us in a little bit before we get to discussion, Jenny, on specifically the survey, because that we're going to amend to add the discussion, and then we'll add an item under executive session. So when we get to that piece, if you'll help kind of fill that in a little bit.
When we get to those.
When we get to those.
Okay.
So right now I'm going to, I'll make the motion and I will be looking for a second. We need to add one item under board discussion, and that's principal evaluation.
Yes.
Okay, so we need to add an item D. So that would make 9 letters A, B, C, and D, with D being principal evaluation. We're going to add a new number 12, executive session. That would be under 246402, item 4I, which would make that the new 12, and then reorder the remaining 2 items. So announcements would become item 13, and adjournment would become item 14. Do I need to repeat any of that, or are we good?
I will second.
Okay, very good. So there is a motion and a second. Is there any opposition to amending our agenda? Seeing no opposition to the amended agenda, if I could have a motion to adopt the amended agenda.
Motion to adopt the amended agenda.
Very good. And if I could have a second, please.
Second.
Very good. Any opposition to adopting our amended agenda? Seeing no opposition, we have adopted our amended agenda. Okay. Thank you for your patience there. Board member reports. Does anybody have anything to add? We can just start this end and work our way down. Nothing, Andy?
I don't have a whole lot this time.
No? Okay. Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, I did have an opportunity to do a walkthrough with a potential parent early this week. I don't know if it was staged or not, but I thought that the person that represented the LTA did a phenomenal job in answering the questions and making sure that the parent and grandparent actually were there. Felt very comfortable because I was kind of in the foreground listening in, trying not to get in their way. And it was really a really good engagement that I noticed. And I got to tell you the truth, I expected some of the kids to get out of hand, to be honest with you, because we actually stepped in a couple of classrooms. But they were phenomenal. They were just, they kept in contact with the teacher. They kind of looked over at us and said, whatever, and went right back to what was going on with it, whatever the instructor or teacher was doing. So I was very pleased with the whole environment, that whatever the 45 minutes that you spent this for, it was phenomenal. So when I left with the parent and the grandparent, they were both very pleased. They had some concerns, and I relayed back to them to please call you or Mr. Manley also. So I don't know if that's happened, but I was really pleased with the whole scenario. So thank you for your time.
Perfect. Jenny?
Nothing.
Nothing significant for me. I think spring break is always a nice reset and then charge to the end, but nothing, nothing big for me
Charge to the
today.
Definitely a charge to the end.
Which, speaking of that, I feel like all the kids are ready for this end of the school year, probably with all the staff too. I know when my kids come home, they're counting down the days now. They just told me what the last day of school is.
Did you?
Today.
What did they say? Did they give it? Are they
first thing
giving
in
a
the car-
count?
First thing in the car after school, they said, the last day of school is the 21st.
Got it.
So they're getting ready. I think my daughter got a new teacher recently, so that was a pretty smooth transition. And they're all getting ready for testing, so I think kids are pushing through to the end.
Good. Okay. Gotcha. The only board member report that I have, so House Bill 1310, which was one of those bills that we were looking at as we look at our security posture. The sponsors of that bill today withdrew that bill, and so it is dead. Thankfully, there is one more that's out there, and that's Senate Bill 131 that's still making its way through that could have an impact. And then obviously there are several, I think there's one that's actually going on now, which would devastate charter schools. That one is in committee, currently hearing testimony as we speak. I have a feeling they're going to go much later into the evening than even we are. And then finally, the non-legal name change, which has implications for all of us. So still things to be watchful of, but at least some good news, and that was specifically the House Bill 1310 died. So.
Is there testimony going every other, or like 2 for, 2 against? You know how they do that sometimes?
Yeah, I didn't tune in to the current one that they're hearing, but that's typically what they do.
Yeah.
They typically try not to do all of the support and then all of the opposition.
Yeah, that's right.
They back and forth it to give it a little bit of a balance. So, anyways. All right, let's move on to principal report. Mr. Manley, do we have anything from you today?
Sure, let me share a couple of highlights. So,
Do you mind coming closer to the microphone? Or I can send the microphone over to you, either way. Thank you.
I feel like I got in trouble. I got moved to the front of the class. A few highlights. Everybody wants to know about enrollment stuff. I'll share some specific breakdowns with you, but we are currently looking at 676 for total intent plus new enrollees this year. Obviously not guaranteed, there's just kind of always flux going on, people in and out, but we're continuing to get applications as well. In fact, we also have a wait list of a total of about 20 across the grades, lower school grades as well. So as people make their intentions clear or decide they got relocated or something, we have a few people to reach back out to. But closing in on 100 more than we have this year, so we're taking that as positive.
Yeah.
Continuing to do some enrollment things. There are a couple of events coming up, and even through Freedom Days again in July, we did last year. We'll do some things like that to encourage that, as well as some targeted marketing that we're still doing. My base guide for kind of the military base community, and some other things on our own as well. So those are positive. Essentially through 10th grade, we're close to being full in most of those grades. The gap is still, which is good, is in junior and senior class, which would be expected as we're just graduating our second class this year. And those are at about the low 30s right now. And to put that in context, we have 9 seniors this year. So to have 30 odd next year is a pretty substantial growth. So drawing juniors and seniors to the school is a little more tricky. Kids aren't moving as much at that point, but we are working hard, mostly in the summers, on fulfilling some concurrent enrollment goals that we have to be able to do that here on site with some teachers that we have, and we think that's a pretty good draw for some of the older students, retention and attraction.
Yeah.
So.
Remind me real quick, we can't do homeschool enrichment? Because sometimes, like for those junior seniors, going to a brick and mortar for some of like a science class is
Right.
attractive.
So we don't have a homeschool enrichment program. That would be something that would have to be added into our contract. Space would be a question mark for us. We're pretty full. What we can do is take part-time students.
That's okay, so we can do that.
The
So for the
That's
homeschool
right.
families that wanna like do science here,
That's right.
10th, 11th grade could do it,
So-
or 11th, 12th.
So by statute, they have to come to what ends up being a minimum of 2 classes and a maximum of 3 to fit in as a part-time student, and not be in the full-time space, or to be here and not, can't just come take 1 class. Now it gives us partial funding. And the group to reach out to is homeschool people, because you can't participate in another state-funded program. So that pretty much leaves you with homeschool kids.
Mhm.
Some kid at a private school, if it were a bizarre like schedule, I don't know what that would be, but basically homeschool. So not running a homeschool program, but can serve some students that are choosing school that way.
And then, if I heard you right, you're saying that the only grades where there could potentially be an opening, that there is no wait list, would be 11th and 12th. Is that correct?
There are a couple of other grades that have a couple of seats left, but essentially, yeah, K through 10 is pretty much close to being full. There's a couple of seats left depending on which grade.
How is kindergarten? Do you know?
Oh,
And if
I
you
think
wanna-
we're full in kindergarten, and we
Okay.
have 2 on our wait list.
Okay, got it. Okay, gotcha. My computer just locked. Sorry. Okay.
So, a couple other things. Our SAC committee will meet for the last time here coming up in May for this year. We are in the process of hiring, interviewing for positions for next year. We did have a couple of retirements upcoming and some other positions that have been vacated for a couple of other reasons. So we're doing a lot of interviewing right now. I've made a couple of hires already, and we'll continue to push for filling those positions. We've got them all posted on our website, as well as some other places. We start CMAS testing on Monday. So students have been prepping for that. We did some mock testing earlier, and there's been a lot of prep in the classrooms as well, especially in the lower school, just familiarizing them with format. Track and field is in full swing. I wish Mr. Mark were here too. He's probably running a practice, but some highlights. But that seems to be going well. And they're, again, already looking forward to next year being involved in CHASA. Let's see, what else can I highlight for you? One facility issue, we got the metal sheeting in to replace the stuff that had blown off in one of the storms, and they sent the wrong stuff. So we're back to the waiting on the metal to come in to replace that. So everything else is kind of normal, just prepping for summer cleanup, maintenance, and repairs, as well as the big project this summer is the gym floor, which starts literally the day after we get out of school. And other than budget talk, that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions from anyone? No? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Manley. Appreciate that.
So I'll just add, we're going to provide you tonight with a proposed budget for next year, which hard copy stuff we look at. We'll want to have some discussion over the next few weeks in May. At the May meeting, we'll want to approve that and then make it the motion.
We have to have a resolution to appropriate funds and stuff, so.
Okay. And even that is going to be something that's in flux, right, until we get
Yeah.
the October count.
Right.
And some different things. We'll continue to monkey with that. There's always an updated budget, but that should give you a few weeks to kind of pour over it, ask questions. We can kind of do that.
So let me ask you this then, or do we don't need to take action on the financials tonight. So I should have amended that out. So, okay.
Well, I do have financials for February, but the budget itself, the proposed budget.
We don't have to do it until next month.
Okay. So I don't necessarily need to. I guess we can
Yeah.
table that. I don't know that I need to necessarily amend. Kick that out.
No.
Okay.
We do owe the district paperwork here shortly, but it doesn't have to be something that was
Approved by the board, yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. That's helpful. Okay. Anything else? Any alibis?
No.
Okay.
That's right. Oh, he's gonna forgotten about that.
Alibis. That's right.
Military kind
It is. It is. Okay, let's move on to board discussion then with financials. Ms. Miller, I'll turn it over to you. I don't know if there's anything you want to highlight as we
Yes.
kick off this discussion.
The top copy is supposed to be the budget to actuals. There's not a whole lot. I will say that in January and February, our PPR was adjusted downward. So March, we'll go back to our regular PPR amounts. So that's a good thing. I am submitting some stuff for MLO for supplemental teacher salaries. That will show up in March, so you'll see that in March's column, but for the most part,
Okay.
everything is already in that report, that Mr. Langley had given, so.
When was the last time you got an attorney fees bill? Because Dustin sometimes doesn't give those and I noticed that projection is low, or the actual
Yes,
is low.
because it's at 39% right now, right?
Right.
Mrs. Canning did send him an email.
Okay.
She hasn't heard back from him.
Okay.
But, I think the last one we got was for like $150. So I don't know.
Okay.
What to expect.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons I didn't change any of the projections,
Mhm.
because I am only dealing with February. So I still have March, April, May.
Right.
Not only with legal, but just with other stuff too.
Yeah.
So,
I just noticed that was kind of pretty low, and I was.
but that's pretty much it.
And then can you remind me, are we July 1 to June 30th for fiscal year?
I'm sorry. Yes.
What's, okay.
What do you anticipate for the MLO that will be included in March? Or what did you, 85,000?
And then I'm also doing an additional submission for some of our security items and things like that. So I still have to package that one together.
Okay. Gotcha. And that's also under the MLO as well, just a different bucket. Got it.
All their buckets.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on the budget to actuals?
No.
Do we want to move on to the proposed budget for 24-25?
Okay, so when I was looking at this one, I looked at the 4-year averages, if we had it. Some line items we didn't, like athletics, we were not separating very well, but, or at least in previous years. But I was looking for irregularities, and then I also considered this year's trends. As you notice, some of them are lower than what's projected. So curriculum is one of those, legal fees is another. Let me see, expenses overall increased for 24-25, at least what I have so far, is $450. And we're gonna supplement that with about $240,000 of MLO funds for teacher salaries. Like Mr. Manley had mentioned, we're getting good response as far as students. So what I did is projected for 630 this coming year, just to be really conservative. I did find out we'll get about $600 more in PPR. So I include that. Medical benefits will be trending about 7% higher. I did it at 10, just again to be a little more conservative. And then this year, this coming fiscal year, we'll have health services, whereas that's been paid by the district up until this point. So I did talk with the nurse. She gave me kind of an estimate of equipment and supplies that she would need. And hopefully our district fees will go down. Well,
Proportionately.
right, yeah, proportionately.
Hope.
And then, yeah. And then the May board meeting, just to reiterate what Mr. Manley said, the final budget needs to be submitted by June 1st, which means we have to do the board meeting in May.
June 1st.
And Fund 26 is not included in there yet, but I do plan to have kind of a summary line for each program so that you guys can kind of review that and ask questions. And
As part of that report for May, can we kind of get the salary like breakdown? I don't care if we, we don't necessarily need names, but just kind of what that looks like.
For each program?
I mean, so, do you remember when we did this?
Yeah, we did a exercise where it was kind of, I think it was mostly sanitized. Either it was by grade or something.
Mhm.
Were
Yeah,
you? I'm trying to remember, Mr.
no,
Manley, if
I
you
think
were.
it was something under Stanky.
Okay.
And, yeah,
Was it?
right? Just to kind of give us an idea of where we are at salary wise, like what the ranges are.
Okay. So
I
yeah,
think they're 7%, right?
just trying to think about what what the product what you want to be able to work with, right? So we could give you a list by like position, and you could just see without names, like you
Yeah.
could see position and
Like third grade teachers.
salary. Or you could say
Yeah.
average for grade. I'm not sure if that's as useful.
No, I think we need like almost actuals, right, by
Yeah.
person.
And it might be helpful to have current or what they were. So there's that ability to see the comparison, what they were and then what they were.
Right.
Just because we're trying to work on as much as we can on closing as much of a gap as we can, and I think that's helpful data to have
Yeah.
each year.
Sure.
So I do have the comparisons already.
Okay,
I just would probably have to sanitize it, like you said.
Sure.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that if it's like you could probably keep it like in the same order that you currently have it, and just, if it's an Excel, hide the one column, or, and PDF it or something.
That'd be good.
We've been looking at a 3-year window.
Okay.
So that might be.
That'd be great.
Yeah, if you guys have like projections, like that would be helpful, I think, for us to see.
Right. There's going to be some natural fluctuations and
Oh, right.
like somebody.
Comes in with a master's versus somebody leaves, this person had a master's and this person replaced them doesn't, or.
Would you be able to incorporate a column that also demonstrates the role of MLO for?
Well, that's the purpose that I did it for.
Okay.
So I could
Perfect.
supplement with MLO, but, so I'll probably have to do a little bit more
Okay.
just to kind of get where you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
if we can just have that for the next meeting, I think would be helpful.
Yeah, if it's a growth trend kind of an idea, okay, I totally got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because we were so far behind the 8 ball.
Could I ask about athletics? That's a big,
I think
That's
that's
a
because of Chassa.
big jump, but do you have any details on that? Is that something we need from Mr. Markle? It looks like for,
I didn't include his,
Document.
I know I have it, but it's really small. What,
There is a little reorganization there, so that's partly why
okay.
it changed. So some
as far as,
right. So we weren't including, was it all salaries in there?
yeah, so in previous, yeah, we were doing coaches where we were absorbing that, whereas this time it's actually being shown in
Okay.
athletics.
So that jump is related specifically to salaries. Okay. Okay.
That would have been about 70,000 just for salaries, and then of course para would be about 15.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Okay. And then again, under the athletic program as well.
Ooh, looking.
So the revenue versus the expenses. The revenue, the revenue increase there is because of salary, I assume.
No, the revenue would be.
Or is that
increase in
fees?
Student fees
Yeah, that'd be the student fees and anything, any fundraising.
and
they
extra
did.
participants. That's
So-
income.
I think, and I don't think I have it on the bottom of yours, but it's about shy of 131,
Shy.
where we would absorb those,
Okay.
where the, in operation.
Yeah. So if you reduce
Yeah.
that number by that,
Yeah.
this number down here is what
Sorry,
jumped because
yes.
of 85.
So on the last page in total annual expenses in the blue, it looks like it's at about $1 million less than the projected budget for current year. Because because I see projected for this year is 8.821 and proposed for next year is 7.9.
Yeah, I don't have Fund 26 in there yet.
Okay.
So that,
There's
yeah.
a big difference there.
Sorry.
Okay.
Where
Are we
did
saving $1 million?
expenses go?
No, that will increase as soon as I get all of Fund 26 in there as well.
And what is Fund 26? Just because I'm newer.
It's a special revenue, it's the one that has to do with building core.
Yeah, so it's a bond.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. I don't see $1 million savings. What am I missing? I'm usually pretty good with numbers.
Will the health aide be an employee of LTA then, not a contract? It'll be like a employee?
I'm sorry?
The health services, health aide, nurse, whatever we're gonna call the
So
person?
one is an employee and I think the other one is contracted, right?
Okay.
The nurse. I think
Oh, I
is
see.
contracted.
Yes. Oh, good clarification. And so we're also happy to be keeping our people. They were both wanted to stay. We are sharing a nurse, Ms. Klininski, with Pipsel.
Okay.
So they officially hired her, and then they will be billing us for our portion. And so we have a contract with them for her. And then Ms. Allen is staying on as a health aide.
Okay.
And we officially have made her our employee.
Okay.
Yeah, both positive.
Yes.
Anybody have any further questions on the
Nope.
proposed?
Next item.
Okay. Let's see. So we have some meeting minutes, February and March. And those are the only ones, is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have more.
okay. Gotcha, gotcha.
Send out throughout.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the meeting minutes that were sent for February or March?
Nope.
Okay. Got it. Let's move on to the resolution. Obviously, tonight we are to take action. I just wanted to give another opportunity if anybody had anything to add specifically to the resolution that we read last time that we discussed a little bit at length, declaring its opposition to any legislation that would further decrease privacy, protection, and parental rights of students.
I do not see anybody signed up.
That's been on the website since our last meeting.
Nope.
I got feedback from one parent that spoke at the last meeting,
Okay.
and so the only feedback I got was positive, and it was one parent. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Anybody else receive anything or?
No
No.
feedback.
Okay. All right. Well, very good.
That's where you added D.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay,
You're
so let's go into D. D is principal evaluation. Jenny, I want to turn it over to you so you can kind of.
All right, so principal
Right.
evaluation, we were hoping to have it done today. It's not done. And partially is when the survey gets sent out to families and staff, it ended up being the same survey and all of the data was merged, so we can't differentiate between the stakeholders. And so I think that we're gonna need to resend out. I don't think we resend it out to families. I think that puts a burden on families. I think we resend it out to staff and we make it maybe a little bit more focused on, there were some comments, so at least that kind of gave us some insight on, and one of the comments actually from, I believe, I don't know who they were, but it seemed to me like it was a parent survey, like a parent answering the survey. It's like, this seems like it's for staff. So, I want to make it maybe a little bit more narrowly tailored for the staff and have that resent out. I would like to get the questions drafted, no later than Sunday night, have it sent out on Monday. And I don't know if you guys, staff members, have any feedback about what is a
appropriate amount of
appropriate
time.
amount of time. What I find is the longer you get away from when that is sent out, the lower the response, right? Because it gets buried in email. So if it is, people are more likely to answer it same day, whatever. Maybe we as a board try to incentivize staff to respond.
Monday sounds great. CMAS starts on Monday.
Okay.
One of my concerns on that one. Because
Okay.
teachers won't have their laptops all day.
Oh, they won't?
Their laptops taps get put away while they're testing.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
So,
they'll bring them out during lunchtime, but we can.
yeah, the last thing they want to do is try to answer a survey when they probably have like 15 parent emails. Okay, so, okay, no, so tell me
What would make sense?
What
Either
makes
when it would
sense?
initiate, and then how long should it run?
yes.
And then we can just really emphasize it too. We can push it out Monday, yeah, we can have it due by Friday.
Do you think that would still work? What is the proximity of staff to computers Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday? Is it the
Same
same
as
as
Monday.
Monday? It is.
Yeah, I guess upper school, I always think of lower school because
Yeah.
Upper school has different group testing.
they're back on Thursday.
So we're sort of normal schedule back on by the end of the week.
Would it make sense if we wait until the following week? Do we have?
Or even release a midweek, do Wednesday to
Yeah.
Wednesday, and give them over the weekend to complete
That's
what they want to do
fine.
at home.
Yeah.
Does that work? Wednesday to Wednesday?
Yeah, let's do that. We'll do Wednesday.
Okay.
Because we have several new teachers too that are first time testing.
Yeah.
We're already
Mm-hmm.
Stress out.
stressed out.
And the rules are horrible. So,
So,
You take my watch away,
all right.
so that would
You
be
can bring a book.
Nope.
release
You
on
can't
the
read a book after?
17th through the 24th.
Correct.
17th.
So 17th to the 24th. I will then have everything compiled by Friday. I'll
The
have an average
26th?
sent out. I'll have the survey results to everybody on Wednesday when I get them or Thursday when I get them. Who, Mr. Manley, Ms. Moore, and you guys, who should I send it out? Because I think Maria sent it out last time. Please tell me the staff got it.
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, Do you like that moment of panic?
I filled it out as soon as I got it because
Okay.
it gets buried in my emails.
Is that where it came from? SAC? It's supposed to come through SAC.
I didn't pay attention where it came from. I saw it and I didn't.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. That would
Is
be
that-
something, yeah.
I mean, is that who I should have doing it? Because doesn't she have a classroom too?
She does currently. I'm sure she can deliver that. Like,
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
that's easy.
a pretty quick send.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I just don't want to cause a ton more work for somebody. Okay. So I will do that. Then I'll have her send me the results right away on Thursday. I'll get them out to the board.
Okay.
And then if the board collectively can have all of theirs in, if you haven't done it already. So Manly self-evals in there. I'm gonna be adding, I got some other stakeholder input that I will be adding to that folder too, now that as of today, I'm back into Google Drive. I will add it in there and then I will do an average. And then hopefully I think we need to have a special meeting,
So the next,
which would,
what should be a regular meeting should be May 16th. If we are doing 26th, that gives us that week of April 29th, April 6th, I'm sorry, May 6th or May 13th.
not May 6th, I'm gone.
Okay. It cannot keep until the 16th of May.
Mr. Manley, this is all about you.
16.
Of May would be the next board meeting. So the option is either we would need to do a special meeting between, I guess it would be the 24th or the 26th and of April and the 16th of May in order to just handle the evaluation, or we just hold until the 16th.
Flexible.
You're indifferent? Okay.
It's the last week of school. Does that change your opinion?
No, it's actually the next week is the last week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, 21st. Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't change your opinion. Okay.
So that works?
Yeah, then I think we can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so then let's hold until the 16th,
Yep,
and that way
let's
we
do
don't
that.
have to do, okay. So May 16th, it'll be on the agenda. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that's much preferred, much
There we go.
preferred. All right, any last minute questions on D, which was principal evaluations? Okay.
What did we say, the 16th? Just double check.
All right, let's move into public comments. I'm not sure that we have any public comment, but I'll read this anyways. Item 10. We appreciate and welcome comment on Liberty Tree Academy school operations and programs as part of our public comment. We ask that your comments be made in a respectful and orderly manner. Follow-up action items may be assigned to the appropriate board or staff member depending upon the comment. During public comment, board members may choose not to respond to any comment made in public session in accordance with policy. Public participation is limited to 3 minutes per person. Thank you for participating in our public comment forum. Seeing no public comment, let's move on to action items. So action item A, we can hold that until for financials. That will also be May 16th, and that works for you as well, correct, Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's just enough time to get everything in.
I'm sorry?
June 1st is our drop dead.
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on to adoption of past meeting minutes. This would be for both February and March.
Make a motion to adopt the meeting minutes from February and March
Very good.
2024.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Very good. Is there any opposition to adopting the meeting minutes for February and March? Seeing no opposition, we've adopted those meeting minutes. Let's move on to the resolution declaring its opposition to any legislation that would further decrease privacy, protection, and parental rights of students. If I could have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
To vote on the resolution that declares its opposition to any legislation that would further decrease privacy, protection, and parental rights of students.
Okay. And who would like to second?
Second.
Very good. That was Stephanie. And is there any opposition to the resolution? Seeing no opposition, we've adopted that resolution. That will bring us through action items for 11. Let's move to the new 12, which would be the executive session. If I could have a motion to move.
You have to read the thing.
Moving into executive session under Colorado Revised Statute 246402, item 4, letter I. If I could have a motion.
I'll make a motion to enter an executive session.
Very good. And a second, please.
Second.
Very good. Mr. Johnson, thank you for the second. Is there any opposition to moving into executive session? Seeing no opposition, we will move into executive session. Mr. Manley, if you could join us, please. And then we will return here for the next item, which would be announcements upon completion of executive session. Very good. I am taking All right, we are back from executive session. That brings us to item number 13, which is announcements. Does anyone have any announcements?
Next board meetings is 16th of May.
Very good. And that brings us to item 14. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. It is 8:07. Shortest board meeting we have had.
Board meeting I've ever been to.